Our farm is switching to being almost 100% barter based. That's a big deal, especially in today's economy, but that's why we're making such a dramatic switch. Let me rap it to you real quick. Come on, let's park it real quick. Oh, okay, man. Take a little quick break and wrap it. So our farm is literally turning into where we don't see money being the exchange of currency that we desire, right? More so than anything, we're desiring community. But secondly, we're looking for goods. We're looking for services. So we have been making a transition since our brief stint in farming and really understanding that it was based on a facility that was depreciating right where we stood, right? It was based on constructs that were not sustainable. We decided to take a dramatic shift and growing our own food and using that as our main sustenance and our main value source. We used education as something that was complementary to commerce, but the actual goods, we never saw those as a tangible that we were willing to give away for paper. So we really started to intentionally barter our items. And what happened is the small community that we were servicing, let's say for eggs, like our eggs, we only have 11 chickens. We're in the metro area, so we don't have hundreds of chickens, right? We only have a handful of chickens. We get about a dozen a day, you know what I mean, give or take. And what we'll do is we'll use about 2 dozen a week, and then we'll have about 4 to 5 dozen to barter. And what we've started doing is connecting with people in the area who are growers, bakers, and makers. For this example, I'm going to say Ayla, our bread lady, she comes every Friday or every other Friday, and she delivers a loaf of bread and some bagels each time. Sometimes she'll leave us with a little sweet treat here and there. But we started doing this with her purposefully because we found out that it saves us money and time, right? It saves us money and time. So bartering is not something that we're just throwing around casually. When people are saying bartering is making a comeback, we're saying that yes, we're living it right now, and yes, people are getting turned away who just have dollars in their hand. Absolutely. Because one thing is for certain, the economy is telling us where it's headed. And a lot of us can't afford things as it is. If it gets worse, a lot of us, the 90%, like those people that are struggling right now, living check to check, we're going to have to make a decision. We're either going to buy our food or we're going to pay for our bills. It's that simple. And I'm saying enough of us growing food takes that option off of the table. So now we'll be a little bit more comfortable saying, okay, we can make our bills, we can make ends meet over here until the system changes or pivots or we cause the change. Because we're growing our own food, we have more of a leg to stand on over here. I'm just saying, bartering is making a comeback. And so to be involved in the food system, that means you can make compost, right? Take your food scraps and make compost. You can save seeds that you can barter to other people. You take those seeds and start transplants or, small plants in the beginning of the season that people can barter with. It's so many ways you can involve yourself in the food system. It's not funny, right? Clothing, fiber, color, paint, artwork, lipstick, blush, eyeshadow, all that stuff comes from plants, right? It's literally a plethora of avenues you can traverse in this agricultural field in just being a steward of the land. Even weeds, identifying your native weeds and identifying what kind of medicines that you can make, tinctures or salves or things like that you can make naturally versus going to the pharmaceuticals. And I'm just saying that plainly because we already know the age of information is upon us, man. We got supercomputers in our pocket. We know that all this stuff comes from the land, and we still deny the power of the raw resource. Some of us, right? Some of us are saying that, oh, I think I'm gonna skip over the money and go straight to the raw resource. And if the person has the other resource and I have one, then we collaborate. And so again, my example today is the bread. Our bread lady, Miss Ayla, comes every other Tuesday, brings us a loaf and some bagels, and we gladly give her 3 dozen eggs. Now, to somebody who's just doing the math, our eggs are $5 a dozen, 15 bucks. Her bread is $12 per item, so 24 bucks. So she's taking a deficit of $9 to somebody who the untrained eye, right? The person who's not out of capitalism yet sees it as her loss. When actuality, eggs really cost that are of this caliber, that's grown and raised on a small scale, very intentionally, very intimately. These eggs go for $12 a dozen, easy, at your farmer's market. At the grocery store, they're marked up to about $9 right now. So really she's getting a value. So that's one. I'm just gonna paint that out. That's plain. It's in real life. We can quantify that. Secondly, what we're doing is the underlying concept of bartering being king is because we take out the middleman. We take out the middleman. And what's going to happen is if you really reduce those 3 dozen eggs to 3 to 4 days of feed, every time I feed my chickens, I give them a scratch grain mix and a laying pellet mix, right? We throw in some scraps. I can't reduce the price even further, but we pay about $1 every day that we feed the chickens. $1, a little less. So those 3 dozens cost me about $3 to $4. For her, she's going to be baking a loaf of bread and a batch of bagels. Bagels come in 6 in a pack. The loaf of bread and the bagels cost about 2 and some change each to make. $5 for her, $3 for me. No money for the man. So it's not just about practicality. You heard that little excerpt I just said at the end, man. It's not just the practicality of we're saving money. We're being in touch with people who actually have quality products. We're building a resilient community. This is people with different skills, different products, different services. But lastly, we're getting a good case of that stick it to the manioses. And we're getting to go ahead and dance on these folk because y'all been playing with us for so long and we done playing y'all game. We're just removing ourselves from the table. We're building our own over here. We're collectively sustainable. You know what I mean? Our whole movement is really just that intentional. That's what it is. We're bypassing the big box grocers in every way, shape, or form we can. And we're taking that money and we're investing it into people in our own area. Why? Because we can see them. We can shake their hand. We can say thank you. We can say, hey, do you got that bread for my eggs? Can we make this a real thing? That we're starting to interlock and interdepend on one another, right? So we're interconnecting ourselves with all of our raw resources and all of our gifts that we have to bring. It doesn't stop at just the tangibles as far as food. Again, we have services. We have healing modalities. We have therapists. We have bankers. We have folks who can do your taxes. It's all kind of skills that we have within this community that makes it run, that makes it sustainable. So when inflation catches all the way up to everybody, not just the poor people, but to everybody, it's the people who've taken the time to learn about their raw resources and understand the skills that they possess inherently or that they've added into their wheelhouse that they can use to bypass fiat currency and start to exchange with people in their community, thus building their own infrastructure. It's possible, y'all. But I gotta get back to work, man. I'll holler at y'all later on, man. Nature boy, grow some.